the ambassador of the fight, is here in the room podcast with a special guest. I have Johnny Cupcakes Campbell on with a big announcement about his matchup. He did announce he's fighting November 2nd for Cage Titans 46. But we're here to actually talk about this huge New England matchup that we're going to announce right here on this interview. So, Johnny, congratulations on getting back into that cage sooner than we thought, later. And congratulations on this huge matchup. Let's talk about this opportunity and getting back in there for Cage Titans.
Thank you so much. I got to thank you, Steve, personally, for all the help that you gave and all the energy that you put towards and behind me. So I appreciate that very much.
Awesome. It was fun. It was fun helping out with all that. So
that's the way it should be. Yeah. You know, love what you do and do what you love. So that's beautiful. So, all right, I'm fighting Bruno Diaz on November 2nd. So Bruno, Jacare, Diaz, and Cupcakes will be squaring off in the Cage Titans cage. And I couldn't be more delighted to bring such a big action-packed fight to the New England MMA scene and just in general. I think that this is a huge fight for myself and for everyone else that's connected to this area and to Cage Titans and whatnot. This is just like two high-level, skilled, prime time guys going at it, and you just don't see that often. Sometimes fighters match up and it's a good fight, but very rarely do you look at a fight on paper around here and just go, God damn, like this is going to be insane. And I think that this is one of those few times, and I'm just pumped to be the one of the guys bringing these fight to the community. You know,
is Bruno one of the fighter? I mean, Bruno hasn't fought, and it's no fault of his own. He couldn't get fights, but his last fight, I believe, was against Pedro Gonzalez, in 2017, over 2 years ago.
Yep.
So, and that was his first fight in the USA also. So he's been busy in Brazil, God, in Russia. He's fought all over the world except for, USA. He had his debut fight here against Pedro. He lost that fight, but I think he was fighting out of his weight class. And that was big talk about him being in New England. He could never get a matchup. People were either in his weight class, were afraid to fight him, or he had to go up in weight where, he had the disadvantage at that. Even though he's a killer, I mean, when you're fighting people at this level, 10 pounds heavier, 15 pounds heavier is gonna affect your fight no matter how good you are. So was he on your radar at all as your career in the last couple of years?
Yes and no, like for sure. When I heard his name around and whatnot, so I knew that he was somebody that I could end up fighting. But I never really thought too much about it until he started making so much noise about no one wanting to fight him.
Yeah.
And then it was like, really? No one really? No, really? Have you been looking? Because I feel like there are people that will fight you. I just feel like it wasn't. He's a weird fight. He's 19-10. He's got a ton of fights. He's a black belt.
Yeah.
His stand-up, he kind of is like a little bit wild. I just feel like because of that, his record, some guys in the area just don't view him as like a good fight or a smart fight.
Yeah.
So, and I just want the most challenging matchups, man. And if he's saying that no one wants to fight him, then I think he's mistaken, because we're going to absolutely be fighting November 2nd. So he better be coming with his A game, because as far as I view it, when you look at his Tapology, he doesn't have a lot necessarily to show lately. So I don't know where he comes off being like, no one wants to fight me. So I don't know. Maybe you should either learn how to sell tickets or you should, promote yourself better, because he was doing something wrong. But luckily it's red panty night for him, because I'm going to fight him. And I'm going to smash his face. I'm going to be coming in that cage to do nothing but break his bones, both facial and skeletal. I'm coming for this guy. Excellent. And I just don't know if he really is willing to, be in there with who I am right now. I'm the best Cupcakes that has ever been, and I will be one of the best fighters to come out of this area. And I'm just going to be stepping on Bruno Diaz November 2nd in order to get there.
Now, you talk about, I don't know if you said dangerous fights, but this is a big dangerous fight for you because your momentum is sky. Your momentum right now, as far as your being a professional fighter, is peaking right now. We've talked. This is your time. You're fighting Bruno with a great record, 19-10. But as you said, you look at his Tapology and his record in the last 2.5 years. He's got a losing record. This is a dangerous fight for you, even though it's a high-profile fight for New England. He's got a lot more to gain from this fight than I say you. I mean, you're fighting a veteran, and it's another win under your belt, and you're getting the work in there, of course, to get you. The eyes keep going on you. But how dangerous is this fight for you to take?
He's dangerous. Like any fight really is dangerous. He poses certain risks. He's a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu, so he has significant skills. He has fought everywhere, so it would be naive of me to think that he would be uncomfortable in any cage, really. So that he's comfortable in these scenarios. But as far as like fighting someone who's dangerous or what have you, it's just not really what I'm thinking about in any way. He's just a challenge for me. So I really like guys who go out and like they climb buildings or they hang off of bridges and stuff. And I've listened to some of these guys speak before, and they basically do these things because they understand that they control their own fate in some way. And the day that they lose grip and fall off that building or whatever it is, that they knew that was coming because they control what's happening to them, and they're willing to go and risk literal life and limb and do that for fun and for yucks and giggles and for like Instagram likes or whatever. Bruno Diaz is like a short bridge to me.
Yep.
And I'm going to go test myself against that short bridge. I'm going to hang on there. And if I want myself to succeed, I'm going to succeed that night. And if I don't, for whatever reason, if I don't foresee or I don't think I deserve a victory that night, then that's when I'll dish myself out. It's not so much Bruno being dangerous. I am dangerous. I'm both dangerous to myself and I'm dangerous to the opponent. And I think right now, more than ever, I'm more dangerous to the opponent. When I get in that cage, I understand fully what my obligation is and what I need to do. And I'm going to be fully prepared for Bruno Diaz that night. He's a black belt in jiu-jitsu. Yep. If he thinks we're going to do a moment of jiu-jitsu, he's out of his mind. I'm going to do nothing but anti-jiu-jitsu. Yep. I'm going to push his head to the mat when he shoots in on me, and I'm going to smash his face with a fist and elbows. I think he's going to withstand maybe 3 minutes of Johnny Cupcakes, and he's going to give in, and he's going to let me just take my money and my what I have already earned home with me that night, and we're going to see what happens in that main event. And if Jay Perrin walks away with both of his legs, then I'm going to be looking to potentially take him out, if not next, then in the very near future.
Now, you spoke of Jay Perrin, who was on the same card. I would imagine he's main event, you're co-main event because he is defending his title. Mike hasn't made formal announcements, hasn't even announced your fight as far as your opponent. He'll probably will, once this interview gets out, it'll be out there. But, you're taking the hardest fights now because you're on that roll and you have to take these fights to get you into the UFC. And you're peaking. So Jay Perrin is on your radar. And when you speak about legs, he's fighting another grappling sensation there. And you speak about like leg locks, like if he walks away with the legs from a leg lock specialist?
That's the only way that Bendy wins. So it's like, if he makes it out with both legs alive, then he's good to go.
So that's two great fights. I mean, co-main event. You're fighting a black belt in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. Jay's fighting a Big Ten Planet guy there that's a leg lock specialist. So it's going to be a great fight that you two guys are going to keep on the feet so you can smash the hell out of them as you talked.
Definitely, 100%. I think that I could wrestle at any point that I chose to. I think that I could do that, but I really foresee he comes forward a lot, and he throws somewhat big shots. I mean, kind of like arm punches. It seems as though he uses his stand up to make you initiate the ground because his wrestling doesn't seem to be necessarily a strong suit of his.
Okay.
So he comes forward aggressively, hoping you'll grab him, and I'm just gonna wait for him to fucking do that, and then counter him with huge shots that he's probably never felt before. And I, so yes, and I intend on keeping it on the feet, but once we get established,
Yes.
I think that I could spin him on his head too. And he's a very jujitsu oriented fella, obviously, so he's gonna accept bottom when opportunity presents itself. And when I wrestle him, because I most likely will, he'll accept bottom, and I'm just gonna continue smashing from there, really. So it's all about just smashing him to the point where he doesn't want it anymore. And I just really desperately want it right now. You know, I've been in points in my career, you know, and maybe it's bipolar, maybe it's my diet, maybe it's the fucking astrology. I have no idea. But sometimes I just didn't want it. And not even that I didn't want it, but I just didn't know if I could have it.
Okay.
So it was like, man, should I even want it? Should I really? And I just wasn't at the peak of who I could be. And right now I'm both physically and mentally just at the peak. And Bruno is just in the way, and he just spoke up at the wrong time, I think.
Excellent, man. Well, yeah, because the wrong time is now because you've been through, had ups and downs, more ups than downs in the last, this past year. The last couple of months, you come away with a win, another organization, things happen there. You had to fight a battle there. You won that battle. So, you're on a 2-fight MMA winning streak and a winning streak with the commission, and you also got a grappling submission win also. So we want to say you got 4 wins in a row, Johnny, man. You could have 5. You're staying busy this year. This is probably your last card of the year. What are you expecting as far as 2020 for Johnny? Because we can look ahead now. You've been doing the work. You have a game plan. You know what you want ahead. What's 2020 gonna bring for Johnny Cupcakes?
Just more of the same continuation of what's been happening, just bigger and bigger and bigger fights, bigger opponents, bigger paychecks, bigger everything. It's just about pushing myself to the absolute limits, and I feel like it is my time, and I've held myself back so much that it is just time to propel forward and take what I've really always wanted but never really been able to frickin' just go for. So bigger and bigger fights. I already, Joe Koff I spoke with for reality.
Yep.
We're looking at a potential 135 title fight for reality in January. So that could be a quick turnaround. I'm willing to travel to fight, so we'll see what comes. If it's something that comes up short notice, then I'd be willing to jump all over it. My weight is good right now. I'm just like, man, my nutrition for a long time just wasn't where it needed to be. I don't know if it's a personal thing. Maybe my body just doesn't react to certain foods correctly, but I would be very puffy and inflamed during periods of not being in camp.
Yeah.
And lately I am just always pretty goddamn in good shape, and I'm at like 155 to 160, pretty damn shredded, and I could be making 35 on only a few weeks notice as far as I'm concerned. So definitely winning November 2nd, and then we're just going to spin off of that and bigger and better fights January then, and then as soon as possible, potential cage titans against Jay Perrin or Bendy. I don't even know what's going to happen there.
Yeah. Possibilities.
Yeah, and then whenever that contender series is rocking again, I want to be making a big splash for that. So that's an intention as well.
Well, you have the cards, you have the promotions to get that work in, to win them fights, to get you to that next level when the contender series comes around again. And the names you've been speaking of and the names that, you're going to probably have to tackle to get there are, great names. And it's great for New England because it's going to happen right here. If you guys don't get to the UFC and you don't get, a late call up or something like that in the meantime. Last couple of questions, Johnny. As far as getting back to Cage Titans, you haven't fought there, and as far as MMA in over a year, you've been busy beating people up in reality, CES and stuff like that. How exciting is it for you to get back into CES because you didn't, not CES, excuse me, Cage Titans, because there was a chance you might not have fought again this year with stuff that was riding. How excited are you to get back into your home, basically?
Beyond pumped, so pumped. I love fighting at Cage Titans and at Plymouth. It definitely is my home, 100%. I always have a crowd there for myself, and then everybody in the building just seems to know myself or my gym. So I just get so much love there. So it's, every freaking Cage Titans employee now is like my friend. So they freaking are all like excited and pumped when I'm fighting, even though they can't really show it. Like, and that energy still comes through. So, it's amazing. And so, after I fought, was it like Dubuque or whatever, and I lost a questionable decision. Colbert and I talked, and we discussed maybe I should travel outside of Massachusetts and try to pick up some W's elsewhere. See maybe if it is some kind of bias, and then we did that. And I lost a fight to Johnny Lopez that was yet again very close decision.
Yes.
But, maybe a hometown decision in some way, but those back-to-back losses by decisions that I felt that the judges really ultimately decided, because the fights were close, but at that point in my career, I had had so many fights that went to decision that I knew what the judges were looking for, and I felt like I was giving it to them, and they still didn't give it to me. So that's what just really lit something inside me that was like, bro, you got to just go out there and try to freaking kill these guys, because that's the only thing that will really, convey to those judges that you're winning, because you are just obviously trying to win. And then on top of it, look at this, you might actually start knocking people out again.
Yes.
My first fight I ever fought was a 56-second knockout over Theo, who's a tough journeyman who has a friggin' chin. And I just came out there bombing hands early, Johnny Cupcakes, not really even knowing what the hell I was doing, and knocked him out. And then just went on a streak of really not hurting people a lot for a long time.
Yeah.
I knocked down like Robbie LaRue or something, but now Lugo I smashed and put on Queer Street.
Yeah.
Dubuque I knocked down. Montino or Motino, sorry, I don't mean to fucking butcher that dude's name, but Motino. I knocked him down twice in a friggin' round. I am on point and fully understanding what it is that MMA is right now.
Yes.
And I think it is about trying to hurt people in every friggin' facet of that, being patiently trying to hurt them though. And I just can't wait to do it again against somebody that's tough as fuck, that people get very much respect, and he has very obvious skills that I have to be aware of, and I like that as well, where it's not like he's totally mysterious in some way. Like, I know what he's coming to do, and it almost tickles me to be able to stop him from doing that and then make him pay for it at the same time.
And he knows exactly what you're going to do, because your last 3 fights, you fight with Dan Dubuque, where you almost knocked him down, as you said. So he's going to have to do that same thing with you, which I do believe it's going to be tougher, because not only do you have the stand-up Johnny, you have that grappling game, that wrestling game, and you have the grit, and you have the fire right now with this winning streak. So you have a lot over this dude coming in, home field advantage. It's a perfect storm for you, Johnny, to basically end the year and get you into 2020 for bigger and better things. Last thing about, before I let you go and do shout-outs, who's getting you ready for this camp? Because it's probably the biggest camp of your life. I say like the last fight, it might have been, you're going to be on, what was it, Fight Pass and stuff like that. But no, this is your next biggest fight. It is your biggest fight of your career right now. Who's been getting you ready? Who's been giving you rounds? And who's been pumping you up for this big matchup?
Well, South Shore Sport Fighting, where I'm at right now, always is sharpening me and getting me better and ready. Specifically some of the fighters like Danielle Henley, she's just such an ace on the ground and just constantly forcing me to understand what jiu-jitsu really is. I mean, there's so many little guys who help me out, like Sean Costello, who's an amateur, who's just an absolute animal that just hasn't even shown part of his potential yet. I know Manny Bermudez is, when he's not trying to cave my head in, is helping me get better, and I love him for that. So many guys, Zach D. Sabatino, that kid is just an animal, and just, when he's being nice to me, I actually get to beat him a little bit, and that's fun as well. So, so many guys here that I can't even begin to put it all together. Bill Mahoney, obviously, I mean, the guy really has been showing me the way for so long, and I just wasn't always seeing it fully, and I hit a point in my life where it was like, man, Bill is on that, he's always been showing me the right way, and I just feel like I wasn't always following it or understanding it because I just wasn't aware enough.
Yes.
And he's a huge impact in everything that I'm doing as far as what I think fighting in general is. So Scott Lockhart also, he's a rugged RX fitness. Okay. And I feel like pretty much everything that I do conditionally is from him. I'm in serious shape lately for sure. And I think part of it is really just because of what he's shown me and taught me. And then mixing that with just the maturity and being calm under pressure it's made me pretty much like a robot in there now. So I got to shout out to UFC Gym. I do, a pretty solid amount of training there now with guys like Kim Moy and some Muay Thai fucking pro named Amadeus that everybody keeps asking me about. And he's an animal. Yeah. But Jason over there at UFC Boston is amazing. So I would reach out to him if you're looking to do some MMA and fitness in the Boston area.
Excellent, man. Well, you got a great crew around you. Great promotion that you're getting back into in Cage Titans, where that's your home. It's going to be rocking. You're going to be, I would imagine co-main event, Jay Perrin, main event, defending his belt, which was once your belt. So it's going to be an interesting night all around, especially the main event and the co-main event. So, Johnny, thank you so much for, coming on, giving me the beans, giving me the matchup. And, it's a special, special matchup. People have been trying to get Bruno a fight for, a couple of years now. And you're back in the game after a couple of fights of your own. And I can't wait, man. So November 2nd, Johnny Cupcakes Campbell. He's back in there going for his third fight win in a row. Hopefully his third finish in a row. Doing that Cage Titans 46, November 2nd, Plymouth Memorial Hall. Johnny Campbell, thank you so much for the time, bro.
Thank you, Steve. I appreciate everything again that you've done, and you do an incredible job at it, and I love your content. So keep pumping it out. Thank you so much, dude.
Thanks so much, brother.